Hello and welcome. You're watching Good Morning India. I'm Gargi Rawat. Lots coming up ahead, including the Karnataka Seer accused of sexual assault. His anticipatory bail hearing will take place today.
Right, Gargi. Also, the most powerful global storm of 2022 is heading towards Japan and China. But first, the headlines.
A local court in Chitradurga in Karnataka will hear the anticipatory bail application filed by the head of the Muruga Mutt in a case of alleged sexual assault of minor girls. A Mysuru-based non-profit which backed the minors is opposing the anticipatory bail.
Bihar Minister and RJD leader, that's Kartik Kumar, who was named as an accused in a kidnapping case, has now stepped down hours after his portfolio was changed.
An MLA's son in Haryana claims that he paid 49 lakh for a job to a BJP leader. However, he was duped. He files a case against him.
The ED says Bollywood actor Jacqueline Fernandez was aware of conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar's criminal history and also that she had wiped her phone clean to do away with any sort of evidence.
With Telangana Chief Minister in Patna, Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar says, why a third front? We're working on the main front. The BJP challenges KCR Nitish to fight them in Gujarat and Himachal.
The man who was responsible for saving the tribal woman from being tortured by former BJP leader Seema Patra says her son Ayushman had called him asking for help and says that it was his moral duty to save the tribal woman.
And Super Typhoon Hinamnor, the most powerful global storm of 2022, is moving at 160 miles per hour and now approaching South Japan and East China. All right, our top story now. In a local court in Chitradurga, Karnataka will today hear the anticipatory bail application filed by the head of the Muruga Mutt, Shiva Murthy Muruga Sharanaru, in the case of alleged sexual assault of 2 minor girls.
Right, Gargi, the police have registered a case against this person and 4 others under the Protection of Children and Sexual Offences Act, that's POCSO, and have taken up the investigation.
Now, Mysuru-based NGO, which actually helped the minor students and the family file the police complaint, has thrown its weight behind the girls. Let's go across to Shrija now for more. And Shrija, tell us, give us more details. The NGO too has filed an application?
Yes, in fact, the anticipatory bail application from the Lingayat Seer side is coming up at the JMFC Court, the Judicial Magistrate First Class Court in Chitradurga district of Karnataka, and also Odinadi Seve, the NGO, Mysore NGO, which has helped the girls file the complaint against the Lingayat Seer, has also filed an application against this particular bail application, anticipatory bail. So the hearing is likely to come up in the court today. Also, what's more important here is that the child rights body, CPCR, has also requested, has sought an inquiry report from the SP of Chitradurga to ensure that especially the identities of the girls are not revealed at any cost, and also to ensure what really has been the report over the last 5 days. More importantly, over the last 5 days, that is, the FIR was registered on the 26th of August. It's been about 5 days against this prominent Lingayat Seer, Dr. Shivamurthy Sharanaru of the Muruga Mutt in Chitradurga. Though on one hand, of course, you have the BJP leaders, senior of them, including ministers, and also former Chief Minister, Yediyurappa as well, rallying behind it, also giving him clean chit even before he has been investigated or questioned for that matter. On the other hand, we do not see any headway in the investigation because it's been 5 days clearly. You know, there is pressure that's mounting, not just from the media, the questioning of in terms of why exactly this year has not been arrested because he has POCSO charges slapped against him. You also have pressure mounting from various activists and also various bodies as well, Dalit bodies as well. So despite that, we see the police have not, gone ahead and arrested this particular seer. It is very, appalling to also look at the kind of audacity as far as the police is concerned. They have not even questioned this particular seer. They've been taking the minor girls, especially to the mutt, the Chitradurga mutt. They've been conducting spot verification. But with regard to this particular Lingayat pontiff, we have not seen questioning, investigation, or even arrest. He has been carrying out with his regular activities inside the mutt. But the police, for some reason, looks like they have been dictated, orders from, we don't know where it is from, whether it's from the government or somebody has been dictating them not to really take him, into custody. But clearly, he has been carrying out with his regular duties inside the mutt. On the other hand, of course, what we see that since no headway has been made in terms of whether arrest or questioning of this particular seer, the women and child body in Chitradurga, they have also moved out nearly 80 girls out of this particular mutt to nearby residential schools.
That's right. A lot of, ever since this controversy broke, Shrija, parents arrived and have taken their children away, as well as you said, Dalit organizations had also staged protests earlier on, and as one of the girls is said to be Dalit, and a case has been filed with those charges as well under the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Act.
Well, that's right. In fact, the first FIR, what we did, of course, see was just with regard to the POCSO charges, but much later SC/ST charges were also slapped against the Lingayat seer as well. Now, despite all these charges that's been filed against Dr. Shivamurthy Sharanuru, we see that he has been carrying out with his regular activities inside the mutt, but there's no headway in the investigation. It's just that, on the other hand, the victims are recorded. They have recorded their statements under the CRPC of 164 right before the magistrate, which will be treated as an evidence against the Lingayat seer. But on the other hand, the accused has just been let free inside that particular mutt. You have had, the girls being moved out. You've had even the girls being, especially the victims, being questioned. The victims are also being taken to the spot verification. But you have not seen in the last 5 days at all, as far as this particular Lingayat seer is concerned, whether it's to do with the investigation or questioning of this particular seer. So we have to, wait and watch how things pan out today, because his anticipatory bail application is coming up. What really happens, you never know, because you already have the government, you already have the police also, of course, not taking any action against this particular alleged Lingayat seer who has POCSO charges slapped against him.
Right. Thank you so much, Shrija, for joining us with all those details. Moving on, a minister in the Nitish Kumar government who is an accused in the 2014 kidnapping case resigned on Wednesday night amid protests by the opposition. And this is after the Bihar Law Minister Kartik Kumar, the leader from the alliance partner RJD, was moved to the sugarcane department over kidnapping allegations, Gargi.
That's right. In fact, ever since he was sworn in, it's been a huge controversy with the BJP targeting the government. Now, the resignation was accepted and forwarded to the governor. A statement from the CM's office said Kartik Kumar, remember, was made the law minister after Nitish Kumar formed the new Bihar government by dumping the BJP. The Bihar Sugarcane Industries Minister Kartik Kumar, after his portfolio was changed yesterday from law to sugarcane, then resigned after that portfolio change. And the BJP, as we said, has been targeting him and demanding his removal from the cabinet, alleging involvement in a 2014 kidnapping case. So this is the first setback that this new government is seeing, the new RJD-JDU government in Bihar.
And Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, sharing dais with the Bihar counterpart Nitish Kumar, took on the BJP, tweaking a slogan of Congress Mukh Bharat. The KCR is calling it a BJP Mukh Bharat instead.
That's right, and KCR has been trying to formulate a non-Congress, a non-BJP front now for several years, and that front, while it's yet to take off, there was expectation that Nitish might bring some necessary momentum. The Bihar Chief Minister, however, made it clear that they have the big picture in mind. In fact, he said, why third front? We are working on the main front.
That's what Nitish said, but KCR went on to say all opposition parties should come together and raise the slogan for a BJP Mukt Bharat. We will try to unite all opposition parties in the country, indicating that he was on board with the idea.
And the BJP...
He is talking about main front. Where it should be?
जितने भी विपक्षी दल है देश में सारे एकजुट होकर ताकत जुटाकर शक्ति जुटाकर बीजेपी मुक्त भारत का नारा देना चाहिए और बीजेपी मुक्त भारत को हासिल करना चाहिए, तभी देश फिर से खड़ा हो सकता है, आगे बढ़ सकता है.
And the BJP on its part challenged Nitish KCR to fight them in Gujarat and Himachal.
और अगर केसीआर और नीतीश जी में हिम्मत है तो हिमाचल का चुनाव है, गुजरात का चुनाव है, लड़े, दिखा दें अपनी ताकत वहां पर, तो मालूम पड़ जाएगा कि गुजरात और बाकी में क्या स्थिति है. नीतीश जी, आप किसी से भी हाथ मिला लीजिए, 2024 में आप न मुख्यमंत्री रहेंगे और प्रधानमंत्री बनना तो दूर की बात है.
Meeting between KCR and Nitish is concerned, it is very obvious that again an attempt is being made to forge an opposition alliance. Now, whether this is a third front or what front this is, whether it has everyone on board, a Mamata Banerjee on board, a Congress on board, most importantly, is something which is not known. But many such attempts have been made in the past, and the sticking point almost always then becomes the availability of too many prime ministerial probables. And that could very much be the case here also. Now, as far as the Telangana Chief Minister being in Patna is concerned, he said a couple of important things. He said we need a BJP Mukt India. We are working on a main front. Why third front? He then basically is talking about building a national profile, for this new formation. But do remember, this has been an exercise which KCR himself has embarked upon in the past also. See, he has national ambitions. And Telangana is expected to go to polls next year. In a situation like this, perhaps KCR wants to position himself as that national leader, and thus an attempt is being made. The problem is that Mamata is also making that attempt. Nitish Kumar also, in the past we have known that there is a lot of chatter and conversation around him being a possible prime ministerial face. Now, we do know that there is a renewed attempt by KCR to bring in all the opposition faces together. Telangana elections are taking place next year, and there is considerable amount of pressure that KCR feels from the BJP, which this time around has thrown everything that they have into the Telangana elections. So could this be his attempt, after winning twice in Telangana, to project himself as this big national leader?
Alright, in other news now, Bollywood actor Jacqueline Fernandez was aware of conman Sukesh Chandrasekhar's criminal history and cooked up a false story to wriggle out of the investigation in the multi-crore money laundering case. That's what the Enforcement Directorate has now said in its charge sheet.
Right, Gargi, in that charge sheet that has been accessed by NDTV, the Enforcement Directorate says Jacqueline Fernandez's claim that she was never in know of Sukesh Chandrasekhar's cases is false. It was her hairstylist Shan who informed her about the identity and the criminal history of Sukesh Chandrasekhar in February of 2021. And despite this, Jacqueline Fernandez ignored this fact and continued the relationship with Sukesh, and also received, used and enjoyed the financial benefits from him, which are nothing but proceeds of crime, is what the agency had to say.
And they also have gone on to say, as they're investigating this money trail in the 200 crore extortion case against the con man, in which Jacqueline Fernandez has been named as an accused, and they've alleged that she tried to cover up by constantly stating that she had in fact been a victim of Sukesh. However, they say during investigation, she's failed to provide any substantial material to establish the victimization by Sukesh, and that she wiped her phone clean, deleting crucial evidence, and that this counted as tampering with evidence.
The charge sheet says that Chandrasekhar gave 7.12 crore rupees to the actor and 1.26 crore to her sister in the United States, 15 lakhs to her brother in Australia, and gifts worth over 5 crore 71 lakhs, Gargi.
That's right. So that's what the Enforcement Directorate has now said, and claimed that the actor was in the know. In other news, the Haryana police have booked a person for allegedly duping a Pundri independent MLA Randhir Golan's son of 49 lakhs in lieu of a job for his cousin. This is what the state police have said.
Right, Gargi, according to the police complaint filed by the MLA's son, Amit Singh, at Sector 14, the police station in Panchkula, they've accused this person had promised him to help his cousin in selection for the post of Assistant Sub-Inspector of the Haryana Staff Selection Commission in 2020. But in the complaint, he has also gone on to say that he was associated with BJP's Kisan Morcha.
But Archana Gupta, the BJP's Panipat district president, has said that Khara was earlier associated with the Morcha but was later expelled.
विनोद खरब नाम उसका और किसान मोर्चा में प्रदेश कार्यकारिणी का सदस्य है वो बीजेपी में, लेकिन ऐसे लोग कई ठग तरह के लोग होते हैं और पार्टी को भी पता नहीं होता भाई वो करते क्या हैं। ऐसे ठग लोगों से सबको सावधान रहना चाहिए। मेरे साथ तो वो कर गया, लेकिन आगे तो यही है सबको उनसे सावधान रहना चाहिए और पार्टी को भी उन पर कार्रवाई।
ये 5 जुलाई को हमारे पास एक कंप्लेंट आफ्टर इंक्वायरी प्राप्त हुई थी। उसमें विधायक रणधीर सिंह जी हैं, उनके बेटे अमित से पैसे लिए हैं। विनोद खरब नाम के एक आदमी ने, पानीपत का रहने वाला है, इस छोटी नारा गांव का। तो इसने सब इंस्पेक्टर की भर्ती के लिए जो आरोप लगाए गए हैं कि सब इंस्पेक्टर की भर्ती के लिए इसने 49 लाख रुपए।
भ्रष्टाचार का कोई विषय कहीं भी आता है तो हमारी सरकार बहुत सख्ती से उसके खिलाफ रहती है। बहुत अच्छे अधिकारी जो है जेल में गए हैं, इसलिए सरकार की लड़ाई भ्रष्टाचार के खिलाफ है। उसके रास्ते में कोई भी इस प्रकार का कदाचार कहीं भी आता है तो सरकार उस पर बड़ी सख्त है।
Moving on, suspended Jharkhand BJP leader Seema Patra, arrested for torturing her domestic help at her Jharkhand home, allegedly sent her son to hospital for exposing her. This after the son exposed the mother's videos of abusing the house help. Kargi.
That's right, even smashing her and starving her. Her son Ayushman, disturbed by the torture, had shared the videos with his friend, and she claims this is a conspiracy against her. We've also spoken to that friend who said it was his duty. He said Ayushman called him and begged him to save this woman.
A friend of mine from my college days, from 2002. We were in BIT Mishra in mechanical engineering department. So I was a friend from 2002. He called me and he was like, his voice, his pitch was very high, and he was telling me, Baski, please save that girl. So I asked, what happened? In the meanwhile, his mother, she also called me. So I put his phone on the hold, and then I talked with her mother, Seema Patra. Then she said Ayushman is not in a good mental state and he's like acting violent and all. Seema Patra was assaulting her in worst terrible way. I was outside the house, but not inside. I was outside.
And what did you see when they brought her out?
Well, like I couldn't see much, but yeah, forces when they did talk for 1.5 hours, something like that, and then Sunita was rescued. And I was not able to see Sunita get rescued, but since I was a bit far, I went the RIMS where she got admitted. So I went there, I met her. I was like very emotional. When she told me many things. You have seen the video. It's like very touching. I couldn't stop my tears. I asked, "Do you know me? I'm Baski, Patra's friend." And she said, "Thank you." And the way she told me thank you was like, I was in my tears. Yes, I was touched. I think that she was she knew that someday his own son will get into this and her political.
All right, so there you have the friend of the son of Seema Patra, and the friend were both responsible for finally rescuing the poor woman from her torture. Well, moving on to news of the economy now. India's economy grew 13.5% in April-June quarter from a year ago, its fastest annual expansion in a year.
But the growth is lower than broadly predicted by economists, analysts and the Reserve Bank of India. Our colleague Priyanshi has the details.
India's economy grew by 13% in the last quarter, that was from April to June. It's the highest quarterly growth that we've seen in a year, but it has sharply missed the Reserve Bank's estimate of 16.2%. So this might impact the Reserve Bank's annual growth estimate of 7.2% as well. This is the second highest quarterly GDP growth that we've ever seen. As you can see in this graph, the highest growth recorded before this was 20% in Q1 last year, and now we've seen this 13% growth. But the growth rate is on a low base. Remember, this 13% is in comparison to April to June last year, when the second wave hit India and the economy was disrupted. But the good news is that the quarterly GDP growth has finally surpassed pre-pandemic levels, as you can see here. Even though they've surpassed just by 3.4%, the quarterly GDP value is now almost 37 lakh crore, which is up from the 35.7 lakh crore that was before the pandemic in 2020. Now, what's behind this GDP growth? Private consumption is up by 40% compared to the same quarter last year. Gross fixed capital formation is also up by 31%. But one sector that has performed really well is agriculture, forestry and fishing. The sector's gross value added has doubled to 4.5% from 2.2%. But one laggard, the manufacturing sector growth, is disappointing, and it has slowed actually from 49% last year to 4.8% this year. But if we talk about the overall GDP figure at large, India is certainly recovering. We've performed better than China as well for the last 4 out of the 5 quarters. China's quarterly growth slowed to 0.4% in this last quarter, while we grew by 13%. The data for growth of 8 core industries has also been released, and that has slowed down to a 6-month low of 4.5% in July, down from 9.9% in July 2021. So really a mix of good and bad on the economy. There are signs of recovery, but well below estimates.
All right, and with that, time for us to slip into a short break.
Coming up next, the 10-day Ganesh Chaturthi festival that started yesterday in full swing across our states. So we'll get you celebrations from across the country.
Now take a look at Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations, and it's a double Ganesh Dhamaka in Hyderabad after triple vaccination, are what enthusiastic Ganesh devotees are saying there.
Right, the number of pandals in the city has doubled post the COVID years of muted celebrations, as enthusiasm has soared in the hope of better times to come.
Across Hyderabad, festive and celebratory atmosphere. This is one of the most important Ganeshas in the city. It's called the YMCA Ganesha, and the number of pandals, in fact, across the city have doubled after the COVID years. If that was a little less than 1 lakh, now about 2 lakh pandals across. After COVID, once again celebratory. And is it a newly married couple?
Yeah, we got married in Feb this year.
Okay. Your first Ganesha festival now?
Yeah, together. Yeah. Together it's our first festival, but we have been coming here for last 8 years now with my family. So I mean, feels really good because we have had a tough 2 years. Everyone across the country had a tough 2 years. So it feels good to be able to enjoy Ganesha.
Come out, not wear the mask, and be able to see the gods everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. And like to be vaccinated properly, triple vaccinated. We all are triple vaccinated. All our family members. So that is important as well.
That is a very important point actually that you have made. Perhaps most people here, actually possibly 100% here, are all triple vaccinated, and that's one reason why they have come out perhaps without the masks, confident that God Ganesha's blessings are there, and so are the blessings of the vaccinations that they have all taken. So prasad being distributed, earlier you would realize that in temples across Telangana, across the country, in fact, no prasad was being distributed, no kumkum or even the vibhuti was being distributed. But now people once again back to taking the tirtham and back to taking the prasadam in their hands. This is of course the pulihora, which is very famous in Telangana. Then also the chundal, and if we were to turn the other side once again, we would go to the modaks that are, of course, the speciality of the rava laddus and the halwa, and also the curd rice, which is considered auspicious. And of course, this is a 111 kg laddu that's in fact will be auctioned at the end of 10 days of celebrations, and whoever buys it for the highest price will be considered as somebody very special who will get all the blessings from the Lord, and that laddu will of course be distributed free of cost to all the devotees. And the biggest in fact of such laddus is the Balapur Ganesh laddu, for which auctions are held, and the prices are quite astronomical when the auctions do happen. So now COVID forgotten, celebration all over the city, and that's the reason why people are coming in their festival best and visiting all the pandals across this city.
Let's take a look now at the devastation caused by flooding and heavy rain and general urban mess from north to south, from Bengaluru to Banaras. Cities underwater after heavy rainfall, with rain having nowhere to go. As you can see there, flooded streets. Bengaluru's high-tech corridor is still waterlogged, creating a nightmare for commuters.
In Varanasi, cremations being held on rooftops after heavy waterlogging has been reported. As far as Bengaluru is concerned, it's touched a 132-year rain record. And here,
the IT corridor in Karnataka's Bengaluru, famous as the Silicon Valley of India, now struggling with basic infrastructure. What were meant to be perfectly tarred roads look instead like waterways.
Outer ring road, I think this southeast side of the ring road is notorious for being low-lying, filled with the highest taxpayers in the country.
Local leaders and all people should take care. They should come and visit at least. They should not be sitting in their home, and so some people are saying they should not be doing like that.
They're witnessing, overflowing, especially of stormwater drains, lakes breaching, and then overflowing, especially to the roads. Several of the traffic volunteers trying to help people wade through this knee-deep water.
Another heart-rending scene in the high-tech city. The body of 86-year-old Srinivasa Rama Rao had to be carried on a makeshift stretcher as family members waded through above knee-deep water. Several parts of Bengaluru have been flooded after Monday night's heavy rains. Bengaluru received over 16 centimeters of rain in a single day, a 132-year-old record, according to the Met Department. A yellow alert has been issued till September 1st.
This is the condition over the last 2 days. Where exactly are the officials? Now that is the question tax-paying citizens of Bengaluru ask. In Bengaluru, Shrija for NDTV.
A red carpet over floodwaters for UP Chief Minister Adityanath as he inspected flood-affected areas in Prime Minister Modi's Lok Sabha seat, Varanasi. While rainfall in Varanasi has been 22% deficient this week and 11% overall this monsoon, mirroring the rain deficiency across UP, rains upstream have caused the Ganga to overflow, submerging parts of Varanasi, mostly its low-lying areas, including the famous ghats. The flood has forced the shifting of cremations at the famous burning ghats, Harish Chandra and Manikarnika, to terraces.
संकट के समय में पूरी सरकार और प्रशासन आपके साथ खड़ी है। ये आश्वस्त करने के लिए आज मैं आपके बीच में यहाँ पर स्वयं उपस्थित हुआ हूँ।
The water level of the Ganga, however, is decreasing now in Varanasi. So far, 32,000 people in 20 city areas and 136 villages in the district have been affected by the floods. A little over 4,000 people have been shifted to relief camps. Across UP, 2 lakh people are affected by floods in 22 districts. With Ajay Singh in Varanasi, this is Alok Pandey, NDTV.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Good Morning India. I'm Gargi Rawat. Up ahead, all those top news stories.
All right, Gargi, I'm Divya Wadhwa. Let's get you our top story at this hour. The United Nations released a bombshell of a report into serious human rights abuses in China, Gargi.
That's right. In this report, it says their torture allegations were credible and citing possible crimes against humanity. The UN Human Rights Office has issued its long-awaited report on human rights in China, saying the government is responsible for serious human rights violations. The report says Beijing targeted Uyghurs, Turkic communities in the Xinjiang region. It also says the victim accounts to substantial claims of mass arbitrary detention, rape, torture, cultural persecution and forced labor.
The UN report says and accuses China of blatant disregard for international human rights obligations and recommends states, businesses and international community to take action. And these reports suggest that the UN rights chief released that report minutes before leaving office.
Well, let's take a look at what the Chinese ambassador to the UN had to say.
We have made it very clear to the High Commissioner and on a number of other occasions that we are firmly opposed to such a report. We all know so well that the so-called Xinjiang issue is a completely fabricated lie out of political motivations, and its purpose definitely is to undermine China's stability and to obstruct China's development. And the Human Rights High Commissioner should stay independent and should avoid interfering in China's internal affairs.
Now, tragic news, however, coming in from Tamil Nadu as a chariot. This is during, celebrations. 2 people have died after a chariot that was a part of a procession came into contact with a power line.
Right, Gargi, 2 people have died as Ganesh Chaturthi chariot comes in contact with that power line in Tamil Nadu, and 2 others have also been injured during that situation there that we are seeing, and this is during the Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations that started yesterday in the country.
And this is in the Virudha Nagar district that this tragedy has taken place. In fact, a few years ago also something similar had happened. So this chariot, which was a part of the Ganesh Chaturthi celebrations and procession, coming into contact with a power line. 2 people dead, 2 have been injured.